Hey there, math fans. It's test 7, lesson 2. If your swords are ready, let's go. So our goals for today are to do a quick review of identifying angles, write ratios as fractions, and find the perimeter of shapes in a pattern. So let's start with a review of identifying angles. So here we have a shape, and all of the vertices are labeled A, B, C, D, E, F. We want to be able to identify angles in this shape and what type they are. So, as you know, we have 4 types of angles. This is an acute angle. It's less than 90 degrees. This is a right angle. It is exactly 90 degrees, and I could draw a little box in there to show that. This is an obtuse angle. It is greater than 90 degrees. This is a straight angle. It is exactly 180 degrees. And I know I said 4 types, but there's actually 5. Our final type is a reflex angle. And we get that when we have an angle that is greater than 180 degrees. So in this shape, just take a look for a minute and see if you can identify a straight angle and an acute angle. Now keep in mind that all of your angles should have 3 letters to identify them. Okay, if you looked, you should have been able to identify that the 2 straight angles were ABC and DEF. And you have all kinds of acute angles in here. You have ADB, or ABD, or BCE, or ECF, or FEC, or DBE. Any of these that are less than 90 degrees are going to be an acute angle. And that's just a really quick review of identifying angle types. We'll move on to another review of writing ratios as fractions. So here I have some shapes, and I can get some different ratios out of this depending what I want to know. So let's say that I want to know the ratio of rectangles to shapes. I'm going to count up my rectangles, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my shapes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My ratio of rectangles to shapes is 4 to 9. And of course I can also write that as a fraction. Now what else can I find the ratio of? Maybe I want to know the ratio of blue shapes to red shapes. So then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 blue shapes to 1, 2, 3 red shapes. I would write that as a fraction as well. And notice that is an improper fraction, but I would still write it that way because that is the ratio of blue shapes to red shapes. Or I could do the ratio of red circles to circles. Then I would have 1, 2, 3 red circles to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. So my ratio is 3 to 5, or 3/5. So those were just pretty quick reviews. Let's look at number 3, which is using perimeter to find a pattern. So here I have a regular triangle. Regular, of course, means that all sides are the same length, which we can see because of these lines. If this side is 6 centimeters and it's a regular triangle, then all sides must be 6 centimeters. The perimeter of the shape, I'm just going to add up the sides. There's 1, 2, 3 sides. Each side is 6 centimeters. 6 times 3, the perimeter is 18 centimeters. Easy, no problem there. Now what happens if I take that regular triangle and I take another one that's exactly the same, flip it over and put them together? I want to know the perimeter of this shape. Well, I know that each side is 6 centimeters. So I'm going to add up 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 4 times 6 is 24. The perimeter is going to be 24 centimeters. Now we're getting a bit trickier. We have that same regular triangle, but we're going to keep adding more of them together, and we want to know what the perimeter of the 5th shape will be. So the easiest way to do this is to find out how many sides are going to be showing each time. So you can see that every time I put a triangle on, the bottom edge, or I should say the base, because if it's flipped over it's not the bottom anymore, the base will always be showing. So I know that if there's going to be 5 triangles, each time I'm going to have one of these. So I can find the perimeter of that part. That will be 30. I know there's going to be 5 triangles and I'm going to see the base on each one. So each base is 6 centimeters because each side is 6 centimeters. So the top and bottom is going to give me a perimeter of 30. Then I just have to add in the sides. And most of the sides are going to be touching. All that's going to be left is one side on this end and one side on this end. So that will be two sides, each of which is 6 centimeters, meaning I'll have 12 more centimeters to add in. If I add the 30 and the 12, that will give me the perimeter of the entire shape. 30 plus 12, of course, equals 42. So that's a nice, easy way I can find the perimeter of the fifth shape without having to sit there, draw all the triangles, and then add it all up. So now you give it a try. Here we have a regular square, regular quadrilateral, all squares are regular. Each side is the same, and each side is 6 centimeters. The first, second, and third shapes are pictured for you here. If we keep adding squares, what is going to be the perimeter of the eighth shape? So pause the video here, give it a try, and when you come back, I'll have the answer for you. Okay, so to get this answer, I have to realize that every time I have a square, the top and bottom will always be showing. The top and bottom are all going to be 6 centimeters. I'm going to have 8 shapes. So I'll do 6 times 8 to get the top length. 6 times 8 is 48. Then the bottom will be the same, so I can multiply that by 2 to get 96. 96 centimeters will give me the top and bottom length. To get the width, I'm going to have one edge showing on either side, and each edge will be 6 centimeters because I know that from up here. So 2 edges, 6 times 2 is 12. If I add the length to the width, 96 plus 12, I get 108 centimeters. The perimeter of the shape will be 108 centimeters. And that's it for today. Just 3 quick review questions here. So please get those done and bring them to school tomorrow so that we can take a look at them as a class. And I hope you have a great night. See you in the morning.